It's simple. You start with something pure, something innocent. Then come the mistakes, the compromises. This is the end. This is the end of the road that I put us on.
Oh, no, it's not the end of the show. That's just a speech I give every time I'm on the last pot sticker. Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. It's finally here. The Endgame. Yes, Avengers Endgame, the final chapter of this iteration of Marvel stuff. What I like, what I dislike, let's get into it. So of course this is a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, so let's discuss what we've got in Marvel in 2019 so far. So best thing from Marvel in 2019, Captain Marvel. I really liked it. It's a lot of fun, some good stuff in there, a great introduction to the character. You can check out my full review that just popped up on the screen if you're curious what I thought in detail. Right under that, we have Runaways Season 2, an improvement from the first season and still very, very good. And finally, so far, worst thing for Marvel this year, Punisher Season 2. I found it very drab and boring and kind of didn't do a lot with the character and is a sad send-off to a great casting of a character. Later this year, when I do my rundown of everything from Marvel from 2019, I'll go into more details on that. But that is my current hierarchy from what we've gotten in Marvel in 2019. So where does Avengers Endgame fit on this list? Well, let's get into it. Avengers Endgame is brought to us by the Russo brothers. Once again, the guys that brought us the highest rated, highest received, best Marvel movies like Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, and of course Avengers Infinity War. So this is their end of their quadrilogy of Marvel movies. So the plot is basically they're trying to undo Infinity War. This takes place pretty much right after the snap, and they're trying to deal with the loss of people and how to get them back and what plans they can do and all that fun stuff. And without getting into too many spoilers, because this is a very spoiler-heavy movie from pretty much the get-go, so that's your basic plot summary of Endgame. So let's talk about the characters. So, of course, this movie has a million freaking characters. Every character from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or at least who survived the Snapture. So I don't want to go into detail about too much, because I also don't want to spoil anything. So I'm just going to talk about the ones that I felt had the strongest arcs. So my favorite character from this movie, and I think the one with the strongest arc of the entire movie, is Nebula, played once again by Karen Gillan. She is so good. There's so much going on with her. It's an incredible arc she goes through. It's amazing. She was my favorite in this movie. She was so freaking amazing, and it, in my opinion, is kind of her movie, and it's great. I loved it. So not appearing in Avengers Infinity War, but in Endgame, of course, we have Ant-Man, played once again by Paul Rudd. It's great to see him in an Avengers movie. He was a lot of fun. I like to see his dynamic with like Captain America and War Machine. He was great with War Machine. Those two teaming up is kind of great because they're not the geniuses. Like between everyone, like Tony's a genius, Bruce Banner's a genius. Captain America's like this great leader. They're just kind of like the guys. Like Rhodey's a great pilot, and Ant-Man's a great engineer and a bit of a thief, but like they're not geniuses, and it's kind of fun to see those two kind of team up because everyone else is like spouting off all this technobabble and stuff, and they're just like, okay. I had a lot of fun with Ant-Man. He's really good. Another one that didn't appear in Infinity War but is now in Endgame is Hawkeye, once again played by Jeremy Renner. He goes really dark in this. There's a lot of suggestions of him playing Ronin. which is a mantle he took up in the comics, and he kind of does that, and he's sort of out doing that. Yeah, he kind of goes in this dark route, and it kind of completes the Hawkeye arc that we kind of saw take off in Age of Ultron, and kind of completed that. So he was very fun. I enjoyed him a bit more in this than other Avengers movies. And finally, the last one I want to talk about is Hulk. This is my favorite iteration of Hulk and Bruce Banner. It was so good. They did a lot with this character, more than what you saw in Ragnarok, and it was great. I enjoyed him a lot. Can't talk too much about him, but yes, I liked him a lot. And yeah, there wasn't really any new characters introduced in this one. This is definitely a direct sequel to Infinity War. There's nothing that's ever really going to come in between those two. You could maybe do a Hawkeye TV show that went for like a season or two, but yeah, generally those are pretty much mashed right together. So, not enough room to really introduce anybody. So those are the ones I wanted to talk about. So what did Avengers Endgame do well? Well, of course, this was billed as an end of an era, and it really is, and it's a great one of those. It's very hard for a lot of franchises to do an end of era style movie, and really the best one done so far would be Harry Potter. Was it Deathly Hallows Part 2 was the best like end of an era, end of a franchise movie I think I've ever seen. This one is right up there with the run for the money for that. It incorporates everything from the last 11 years of Marvel, all 22 movies. It incorporates everything from that. It's so good, and it really does feel like this is the end of a giant chapter in these Marvel movies. Of course, they're going to keep going. They make all the money. Of course, they're going to keep it going. But this feels like an end of a chapter, a definite end of an era, and it's done really, really well. And I mentioned before, of course, Nebula had the strongest arc, but everyone had a really good arc in this. Tony Stark had a really good one. Captain America, really everyone had an interesting arc, and they were all summed up and done really well, adding to like this end of an era. Like we've seen these people build up over many years and see their ups and downs and everything. We kind of get to see a lot how that kind of ends, and maybe how they're going to go into life in the next movies. It's everyone has this very solid arc, and this is done really well. Another great thing is just all the fun little team ups done. Like I mentioned, War Machine and Ant-Man kind of became a team for a little bit. Rocket and the Hulk, that was a fun one. There's a bit where you see Tony Stark, Captain America, and Ant-Man all like together for a bit, and that was good. Nebula teaming up with Rhodey, War Machine for a little bit was kind of fun. That was interesting. They kind of broke off in these little team-ups, and it made it really cool. And it made for like a really epic ending, which I'm not going to talk about it, but yeah, really epic ending, and just a lot of fun team-ups going on. And I think they picked a lot of cool characters you wouldn't expect to be together, but they work out really well when they are together, so that's very cool. And yeah, the final thing I really liked, which makes this a very hard review to do without just spoiling it, is it's just chocked full of surprises pretty much from go. What you think is going to happen, where you think it's going to go, it's not going to go. Or maybe it does go that way, or maybe it goes that way but slightly different. It's all different, weird surprises, constant shifts in people, all sorts of craziness going on, and it's really awesome. You really expect some good surprises from the Russo brothers, and I think they delivered. But no movie is perfect. Where did Avengers Endgame fall short? So, if I'm being really honest, I felt this dragged in the middle a bit. It's just a bit in the kind of middle where you really start feeling the runtime. It kind of slows down. They try and like shift it up with the team ups and stuff like I mentioned, but it does feel like it's kind of going long near the middle. It picks back up at the end, definitely, but it like hits hard at the beginning, hits hard at the end, and the middle kind of dips down and doesn't do a whole lot. And yeah, the Russos like big boast that it's 3 hours and there's not going to be one good place to take a pee. You're going to miss anything if you leave at any point. You have to watch it. No, there's a few places where you can take a pee and be just fine as long as it's not like a long one. Like it's not jammed packed. I felt actually Infinity War was way more jammed packed than this one was. This one had a lot more kind of draggy moments. And this might be my own complaint. I might be the only person making this complaint, and I don't think it's much of a spoiler, but don't expect to see the Defenders in this one yet again. I'm going to go into specifics in the spoiler section, but it's just really pissed me off that there's still no Defenders in this. And don't give me like, oh, it's a contractual thing, it's Disney and Marvel. They have all the money. They could just throw money at whatever issue was blocking up them being on the big screen and just been done with it. And we were told when the Netflix stuff and even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started that we need to watch these. It matters that you watch these. This is all part of this universe. It's all going to make sense. You're going to need to, watch Daredevil season 2, and you're going to have to watch Iron Fist because this is all one universe. You need to see all these things. No, it doesn't matter. They made far strong thing that it doesn't matter. And it pisses me off more because there was a perfect moment to have them in there and they didn't do it. And it's, kind of gets under my skin now because now they're doing the Disney Plus shows where they got Wanda and Vision and Falcon and Winter Soldier and these other, and the Loki TV show. And it's like, should I bother with these? Because you proved that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Inhumans, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Defenders, Iron Fist, Punisher, none of that fucking matters, so why should I care about your new shows? I'm really pissed at this. Like, they really need to start including all their extended universe stuff in the movies. But really, that's the only few complaints I got. So let's jump into some spoilers because it's really time for spoilers. So the spoiler sign up here, jump to this time code here if you want to skip spoilers because I'm going in deep. You don't want to know this, so don't see this next part. It's going to be all hardcore spoilers. So to my delight and also chagrin, everyone from the Snapter is back. They brought everyone back. A lot of people thought that was going to be a thing and would happen. I kind of hoped they wouldn't. I think it would have been a bigger surprise and very interesting if they didn't bring everyone back. Like, go against what everyone thought was going to happen and just be like, nope, we're starting this new chapter in Marvel with brand new people, with all new characters, all new heroes, all that. Everyone's gone. I think that would have been very cool. I think that would have been awesome. But also, it's kind of cool to see them all come back. Having this ending battle, which they did have this huge ending battle with literally everybody, except a few people, which I'll mention. But this big epic battle, so it's kind of cool to see every single person, because even in Infinity War, a few people were were off planet doing things, so we didn't get everyone. This is a battle with literally everyone that was introduced in the movies in a battle, and it was very cool to see. So that's why it's my delight and chagrin, because it would have been cool if they didn't come back and we have to start new with new heroes. It would have been interesting, more surprising. A different narrative would have to be built up, and I think that would have been cool. But also cool to see everyone back. So I don't know how I feel on that at the moment. So back to the no Defenders in this. So there's a scene at the end building up to this giant battle where all the Doctor Strange portal things open up and all the heroes start pouring through. You got your, Wakandans, you got Black Panther, you have all the people that were on Titan. So you got Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Pepper has a iron suit, so she's basically Rescue from the comics. So everyone kind of pulls through, and it's this big old battle thing. No Defenders. Like, you could have just had a CG character that was an African American with a yellow shirt just run across the background. We would have all just assumed it was Luke Cage and would have been fine. Would have cost you, no money, but you had to do it. And it's a bigger annoyance because they hired Natalie Portman, who I'm sure isn't cheap, to walk down a fucking hallway for a flashback scene, but they can't hire the Defenders to show up and pose for one scene. It would just been a perfect moment. And the biggest annoyance of that is, so there's all these different team ups during this battle. These people team up, beat a few people. These do whatever and whatever. And there's finally like this big moment where all the women team up. You got Captain Marvel, you got Pepper, you got Valkyrie, Shuri, who else? Wasp. I don't know, all the women from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? They all team up, and it's like this big girl power moment. Yeah, you kind of left out 3 really powerful women that had been holding that mantle of women in this universe for a while. So again, yeah, no Quake from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., no Colleen Wing from Iron Fist, who now has the Iron Fist. And the biggest one, and it's not just my annoyance because I love Jessica Jones and I love Kristen Ritter a lot, but the first female-led property of this universe was Jessica Jones. She, set this up. She was the first female-led Marvel Cinematic Universe property. And her show won awards. It was a big deal when that first season came out. Yeah, fuck her. Yeah, she can't be in this, girl power moment. Fuck Jessica Jones. That means people would have to, watch another thing, and we can't expect them to, go on the internet and look up who that is. That's too much. No. It's just really fucking disrespectful to that character. She should have been there. She didn't even have to do anything. Just show up for, a second and pose. That would have been enough. But no, we can't think about that. And the Russo brothers know the Defenders are in this universe, and they are aware of them, so they can't even claim ignorance. Because they said during Infinity War, during the press junkets for that, they had a script with the Defenders in it, but it was too much stuff going on, they had to cut it out. But you can't say a scene with literally everybody in this, you can't add 4 more people. It's just really pissed me off that they just excluded an amazing character that a lot of people like, including myself, because, I don't know, people are probably stupid and won't know who she is. They should have done it. There's no reason that you could possibly give me why the Defenders aren't in this movie. None at all. Can't say... Netflix has this no-compete clause where they can't use these characters in anything else for a few years. You don't think Disney could have paid that off so they forget that clause? You don't think Netflix would accept, $2 million per character to do that? Bullshit. They would have done it. I'm sorry. It's just a whole thing. I've wasted a lot of time in my life, a lot of energy in my life, watching everything from this universe because they promised that this all connected and this is all one big thing. And it's not. And so why should I care about these new shows coming out that I'm going to have to get a whole new streaming service for? So they're not going to ever connect back to the movies. On a less annoying spoiler is, some great send-offs to Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. Tony, sacrificed himself, basically doing a whole... 180 from how he started in Iron Man, how he's a selfish billionaire that doesn't care about anything and sacrificing himself for the world. And it was very amazing, done really well. His funeral was tear-jerking and amazing. It was really done really well. Steve Rogers goes back in time and actually gets to spend time with Agent Carter, Peggy Carter, and actually live out his life and grow old as he should have. So he shows up in today's world as an old man, and he can't really be Cap. There's a possibility of bringing him back because he's become old in the comics a few times, so they can fix that if they really wanted to. But at the moment, no more Steve, no more Tony. So that's enough of spoilers. That's a lot going on there. So let's just go ahead and wrap this up. This is an absolutely epic ending to this series, to this chapter in Marvel stuff. this is just a great closing the book on that. And I can't. It's basically gonna. It feels to me like it's gonna be fresh going into the new stuff, and it's gonna be very interesting. Although I do gotta say, I think I enjoyed Infinity War a bit more than Endgame, but both together it's an amazing cap to this amazing story, and it's fantastic. So of course I'm giving it the rating of see it right now. Just keep this video playing in the background. Go ahead and get your tickets, go see it. But it's already made like $1 billion, so you've probably already seen it. But yeah, fantastic, loved it, can't get enough of it. So what do you think of Avengers Endgame? Are you excited to see what Marvel's coming up with the future? Let me know in those comments below. Give me an epic style thumbs up if you enjoyed this universe and this video. And if you could, share this video with anyone possible. That'd be very helpful to me. But I'm Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. Until next time, hold on to your hold slots.
This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend, the end of our elaborate plans, the